to the Diamond Niner Gals podcast. This is episode 9 of the 2024 season. I am Nick, joined once again by Kevin.
What's up, Niner Nation?
Producer Brad making it all go.
Hey.
And we are so fortunate to have, once again, the HSC head coach, Coach Chastain. What's up, Coach?
Not much. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right. We got a lot to talk about here, but we got to start with first things first, Coach. Don't take this as a slight. You look great, okay? But it kind of looks like you got a shiner.
I'll zoom in here for the people. Yes, that is accurate. This is my first black eye in my life at 34. This is the first one. Everyone that's on the team or in the program already knew this, but so Saturday, as you guys know, we played Friday and Sunday. They had bad weather in Greenville Saturday, so we went to hit in the cages Saturday afternoon, and I got hit in the eye with a ball. So, and those of you that also know me know that I am a ball magnet. This stuff happens to me a lot, and it happens it seems to be happening at an increasingly higher rate as I get older. So if you're standing next to me, you just always have to be on your toes because the ball is going to be headed our way. It happens that way often. So, but I'm fine. It looks a little bit, bruised under my eye. So yeah, that's the story.
Coach, you're taking that rough weekend in Greenville to a whole nother level here, coming back with a black eye. So you played pitcher. So, I mean, was that the case in the circle? I mean, you're kind of out there. I mean.
Yeah, I fortunately never got hit in the face. I've seen that happen many times. Unfortunately, it's really scary whenever that happens. And now in the game, you see all the pitchers wear those masks, which I think is, is wonderful. And we didn't really have those. Like I think back to when I was growing up and I played, we might've had them a little bit when, I started getting high school and club ball, but those back then were plastic and they were, bigger. And so now the ones they make are sleek and, you can barely tell you have it on your face. And a lot of our pitchers and pitchers that we face wear them. Which is great, but I never got hit in the face. Fortunately, I've gotten hit everywhere else, in the knee, the shin, the arm, all the other spots, but not the face. And so this is my first black eye. I did call my mother on the trip after it happened just to confirm that I had never had one as a kid. I said, do you remember me getting a black eye as a kid? And she was like, no, I don't. I think this is the first one. So, but I'm fine. I'm fine. It's no big deal. It's just going to take a few days for it to go away.
Glad you're okay, Coach. I know you talked about the softball pitchers wearing masks now. Well, in old man softball, some of those guys get out there with like full gear, catcher's gear, shins, mask, everything. Even third base and shortstop are wearing masks in old man softball. But glad you're doing okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Maybe it's some gear for the cages. Maybe that's what you need.
Yeah, I need to think about how I can just protect myself a little bit more. And I was actually flipping. So I was throwing front toss, which, to be honest, I typically don't do a lot. Cass Krupit or Lexi Wagner or, another staff member flips a lot because I throw full arm BP, which is farther back. I'm not completely full distance anymore, but, I'm at least 38 or 39, 40 feet from the hitter. And for whatever reason, I decided to flip on Saturday and the ball didn't hit me directly. It hit the cart in the cage next to me on my right. And it hit the cart that was next to the net and then it ricocheted into my eye. So it didn't hit me directly, thank goodness. But that's the story.
Front toss is dangerous. Front toss is dangerous for sure.
It is, yeah.
So anybody that watched the gals play on ESPN Plus this weekend will know that that as it turns out that this happened on Saturday, and Coach Ashley is down there in the dugout on Sunday with a black eye. But every time that they went to talk about Coach, they showed Cass Crouppen. So no one.
Yes.
The camera person thought that you were Cass Crouppen. So Cass got a lot of camera time. So that's great.
On the way home last night on the bus, I was made aware of that they got us mixed up for a little while. And Cass is very animated. If you know Cass, she's just a really bright, big personality, and she's always singing or dancing or, whatever. And so supposedly she was dancing in the dugout, and they got us mixed up, and they were thinking it was me. And I'm like, oh no, Cass has got way better moves than I do. So that was not me dancing in the dugout, but we do stand close to each other in the dugout. So I was not too far out of the shot, but not me dancing in the dugout.
That was your stunt double. That's your stunt double.
Yes. Yeah.
So send her in the cage then. That's the answer. Cass, that's your new duty is you're going to do front toss. So.
Well, the funny part is that she usually does. And I was like, oh, I got it. I'll flip this time. And she looked at me. She's like, are you sure? Like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I'll get it. Cause we were in between groups. And so the next group was coming in, we were flipping. And then I was throwing BP to them. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just stay in and flip. It's okay. And of course, the one time that I did that, but I'd rather be me than anyone else, but it's just ball magnet over here. Happens more than I'd like to admit. Me almost getting something at practice or, anytime.
Well, it's not that bad, Coach. You seem no worse for wear. So let's transition. Let's talk about your week. It is what it is. Why don't we start? You guys ended up having to kind of make some different travel arrangements. We talked a little bit about that in the last show. You went up to Liberty and then went directly to Greenville from there. Why don't we start in Liberty? Really competitive game. That felt like a regional game. Honestly, watching it, that two really competitive teams in a tough matchup, and just so happened that somebody had to lose, and unfortunately, that ended up being the gals.
Yeah, I think I agree. I thought Wednesday's game felt like a regional game. It was great competition. They have a beautiful facility, beautiful stadium, and so we were really excited about going up and playing them at their place. I had never been there before. I don't know if I said that last time on the show or not, but the facility lived up to its hype. It was one of the nicest softball facilities in the country. So, we were really excited about it. Liberty's got a great program. They have a ton of postseason history, really great players. And, I think we pitched really well. We gave ourselves a chance to win. Offensively, I thought we had a really good plan and had some big moments in the box, but ultimately it came down to just not playing great defense. We had 3 errors that were recorded, and we had 2 mistakes on one play that essentially scored a run. At third. We threw the ball into their dugout at third base, and the runner was awarded home. So we had 2 errors in that play, and then we had another error that run ended up scoring. And, routine errors happen. We play a lot of games, we play a lot of ball, and, it does happen. But leaving Liberty, we felt like we kind of beat ourselves a little bit because we made a couple mistakes that ended up costing us. If we had played clean defense, I think we would have won the game. We kind of left with a little bit of just sour grapes, just not really happy with how we performed. And the challenge of, hey, we're going to Greenville. We actually came back to Charlotte. That's a long story that unfolded since I've talked to you guys last. We had made plans to go straight there due to changing the series, playing on Thursday. But talking to the conference office, we made the decision to leave the series over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we came back to Charlotte when we left Lynchburg, Virginia. And we were here in Charlotte for less than 24 hours, but we turned over everything, got back on the bus Thursday and went to ECU to practice. And so leaving Liberty, we said, hey, like we need to play way better defense in this ECU series. So that was kind of the challenge going into Greenville. And, honestly, I thought that we played great defense all weekend. I was really pleased with that. That was something that we talked about yesterday. We felt like we played good defense all weekend, and we felt like we pitched well all weekend as well. I know we didn't win the series, but I think I don't want to overlook Gigi Barefoot's pitching performance. I thought that she gave us some of her best innings on the year. She gave us a chance to win. She gave us a chance to win the series, and ultimately the series came down to just our offense. When we faced their ace, Taylor Apple, we faced her in game 1 on Friday and then again in game 3 on Sunday. And we just, for whatever reason, we don't have to dive into those reasons right now, but we just couldn't figure out. We just struggled. We hit the ball in the air a lot and, just didn't execute the plan that we had going in to both matchups off of her. And that's the game, I think that happens of, you just face a pitcher that, just has a lot of success off of you, and our offense really from top to bottom couldn't make a lot of adjustments. So we just couldn't put a bunch of runs together, a big inning or anything off of her in game 1 or game 3. Obviously, we scored a lot in game 2 when we faced the rest of their pitching staff. But we just couldn't get the job done. And it was more of the offensive side this weekend. I thought we pitched well and played great defense. And so, it as you guys have watched and seen this year for us, it's kind of gone back and forth. We've lost games like the Liberty game where it's like, hey, we play better defense and we give ourselves a better chance to win the game. And then other games like the ECU series where it's like we really just couldn't score runs off of their ace. So it's just kind of gone back and forth. But and to be honest, like we were really disappointed and pretty mad leaving ECU yesterday. We've had about 24 hours now to kind of process that and move on as a program. But yeah, that was one that we were really disappointed. One that we felt like got away from us. And just we didn't have much to say leaving the park yesterday. Everyone was pretty quiet getting back on the bus, and I don't know if there were many words spoken on the bus last night from Greenville to Charlotte. I think everyone was just kind of, just internally processing and, just frustrated about the series and how we played. So we were disappointed. I mean, the expectation that we have, was to win the series, and we just couldn't get the job done. And, I've reflected on it today, getting back into town and just thinking about the team and the program, and we've got a lot of softball ahead of us still. We've got really big games coming up this weekend. We have a lot of opportunities to continue to play well and to continue to win in our pursuit of winning the American, in our pursuit to getting to the NCAA postseason with this team. So there's a lot of ball left, and I think that we would be making a mistake by letting our negative emotions about the ECU series really carry us into this week. So we just got to be better as a club and, just learn from it and keep going. We play NC State tomorrow at NC State in Raleigh. And we've obviously got a huge series on our schedule this weekend coming up with Wichita State here in Charlotte. So I know we're going to talk about that, but I just, as I think my job, is to lead the program and to be what the team needs at all times, and most of the time, my job is to neutralize the environment, emotionally, and just making sure that we stay aligned and stay focused on the mission, even when we lose and even when we don't play well, because we have a good team and we have a bunch of players that are high achievers, really talented, and they want to do really well, and they want to take this team and this program to postseason this year. So we've just got to stay focused and aligned on that mission coming out of Greenville into a really big week for us. So that's kind of where we're at.
So, Coach, this might seem like a little bit of a silly question when like the key hits in Game 2 yesterday were homers, but with the situation with the wind yesterday, from looking at it on TV, it looked like the wind was pretty stiff out, if not out to left field or maybe left center. I was kind of thinking when Game 1 started and they showed the flags, I thought, man, there's going to be a lot of balls leaving the yard today, just based on that. And you talked about us maybe elevating the ball a little too much at the plate yesterday, but the home runs that I thought would materialize, not saying for one side or the other, really anybody, the quantity of home runs that I thought would materialize just really didn't seem to happen. So, what do you think accounts for that?
It was interesting weather there yesterday in Greenville. If you watched both games, you saw we started bundled up in parkas. I mean, when we got to the field yesterday morning about 10 a.m., I mean, it was like a real feel of like 30 something degrees. It was in the 40s, but it felt colder than that. And it was windy. I mean, there were wind gusts at 22, 25 miles an hour, and it was in the direction of left field. They have a lot of flags out there, so that was easy to tell. And we knew that when we arrived. It warmed up as the day went on, and it stayed windy, but the wind died down as we played the two games. And so when we got there, it was its windiest, and that died down as the day went on. It was gusty, but I don't think it was quite as windy for Game 2 when, they had a couple big hits. For us on the offensive side, we got jammed a lot by Apple. We just didn't get our barrel out, and we popped the ball up, but we just didn't have any authority behind it. Rhodey had a couple big hits for us. And when we put the ball more on a line or on the ground, that was the approach we were trying to take after we had popped the ball up so much in the series off of her. We did have some success off of that, but we didn't hit the ball with any authority when we hit the ball in the air. So ours didn't really go anywhere. But, East Carolina, they took a few swings with some authority, and the ball did go in the air, but they hit it hard enough that it got some height and some distance behind it. We just didn't have quite the same approach, off of Apple on our end. So I don't know if the wind had much to do with the hits that they got late in the game to win the series in Game 2, but it was windy. So, at a different park with different conditions, it might have been different. Yeah, it was windy at the start, and then it got a little less windy as it warmed up.
Yeah, I thought there maybe would have been more balls going out in that first game. But if you think about it, when the key homers were hit, it was like you're saying, it was at the end when the wind had died down. So just kind of an interesting set of circumstances. Yeah,
and I have to shout out Barefoot. I mean, Gigi threw really, really well for us yesterday. And so she started Game 1 yesterday, Game 2 of the series. And she was just super masterful, executed really well and didn't miss much. She had really great spin and location. So I also have to give her a lot of credit for the success that we had earlier in the day off of their offense. She ended up seeing the lineup, I think, 5 times, through her appearance in both games yesterday, and every time you see a pitcher, it gets a little bit more in the hitter's advantage. So that was ultimately the reason we went back to bowling yesterday when they turned the lineup over for the 6th time off of Barefoot on the day. We felt like bowling gave us a better chance to change up the look because they had seen Gigi, and Gigi's pitch count got to a point where she had to come out. I mean, that's the most she has thrown at once all year. I think she got to about 180, 185 pitches on the day, which was more than what I had really wanted her to throw. But she felt great. She was executing well. So we kind of let her continue to go. And we got a high pitch count, turning the lineup over for a 6th time. We thought that it was time to change. And, at that point, we made a decision to go to Bowling, who gave us some good innings against ECU and has given us some good innings recently. So she's been, she's been a huge piece of our pitching staff. And, I know everyone's wondering where Sam Gress is. I've started to get that question the last 2 weeks. So you'll see Sam Gress here soon. She'll be back out. The Sassy Pony will be back out in the circle. And I know she's ready for it. And I know our team is ready for it. And all of Niner Nation is ready for it, as I am too. I'm ready to see her compete again. Not because I think the rest of the pitching staff can't win, right? I think we've won in the past few weeks. We beat Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago, but Sam is one of my favorite competitors to watch. I just love watching her compete. So I'm excited to see her back out in the circle.
Kevin, how easy does she make this for us? Because the reason why she's so easy to do this show with, Kevin, is because she did not make us ask about Sam.
Well, she said everyone else was asking, so she wanted to go ahead and answer that for us.
Yes. Yeah.
And speaking of Sassy Pony, we're going to NC State tomorrow, where she started her college career. NC State's under a new coaching staff this year, and they have several common opponents to us. Talk a little bit about the Wolfpack and what we can expect tomorrow in that game.
Yeah, you're right about their program is completely different this year. They got a whole new staff this past off season in the summer, and turned the program over to Lindsay Leftwich, who was an assistant coach at LSU for a really long time under Beth Torina in the SEC. And Lindsay's a great person. She's a great coach. We have a ton of respect for her. She's someone in the profession that, we consider a friend. So she's done really great with their program. And we knew when they hired her last summer that, she was going to make their program better. And that's a great thing for us because, obviously, if you know us, you know that we love playing great opponents. We love playing programs that are super competitive. And so we're really excited about going up to NC State and playing them in Raleigh tomorrow under her leadership. And they are a different team, a different program than times that we've played them in the past. We did play them here at the Sioux in the fall in one of our fall exhibition games. So we got some experience with them back in October. We beat them here in the fall, but we're not putting too much stock into that for the spring game. Just because both programs have changed a lot since that matchup in October. I think that was now 5 or 6 months ago. And so our players are just ready to get back on the bus and go up and just compete. I think we've got a bad taste in our mouth from losing the series against East Carolina. And so when you're a competitor, there's nothing more than you want just to get back out on the field and compete at a higher level. And so I think that's what, we're really looking forward to doing is getting a chance and an opportunity to play better and to, play a great opponent in NC State. I think we do have a lot of similar opponents. They play in the ACC, and we play a lot of ACC non-conference opponents on those midweeks and in the preseason. So we've got a lot of similarity in the schedule, but I think they'll be better. I think they've got a few kids that have some power at the plate. So I think that my gut tells me the matchup is going to be about our defense against their offense. I think that will be a huge area of focus for us. And, when we play clean defense and our pitching staff gives us a chance to win, then it's up to the offense, right? At that point of just being able to execute a plan on the pitchers that we face. And so, I know I've said this before, but, we just want to be a program that is built around pitching and defense. And so I would really like to see us pitch really well and play great defense against NC State's offense tomorrow night. And they did change the game time. We were supposed to play at 6, but they changed it last week to 8 p.m. We are going to be on the ACC network and possibly ESPNU. I haven't got confirmation on that, but I know we're going to be on the ACC network tomorrow night at 8 p.m. in Raleigh. So you can tune into that on the ACC network to see us play.
Nice. National TV.
Mm.
Seems like the last time we appeared on ACC network, that was a Niner Gal dub. I could be misremembering that, but I think I have that right. We'll maybe producer Brad he'll stat check us on that here. Coach, hear me out here. I think I know what would make the gals feel a lot better. How about some home games? Wouldn't that be great to get back to the Sioux and just get some games in front of the home crowd? As luck would have it, that's what's coming up. So we've got Wichita State coming in this weekend. Worth noting, preseason number 1 versus preseason number 2 at the Sioux. And that is a little bit different of a schedule as well, structured around Easter weekend. That series starts on Thursday, not Friday. Thursday at 6, Friday at 6, Saturday at 1. All those games will be on ESPN+, but screw that. Be at the Sioux this weekend. Unless you just can't get there. Get to the Sioux this weekend. But, Coach, talk a little bit about this matchup coming up with Wichita State.
Yeah, I think when the schedule came out, months and months and months ago, this is one that everyone starred and circled on the schedule. It's going to be a really great opportunity to see some great softball. Wichita State has been very historically at the top of the American Conference. They've been an at-large NCAA team. They're somebody that we've just really respect the way that they build their program, the players that they have. Years ago, I shouldn't say years ago, but 5 years ago when I took over the program here, that was a program that I'm like, man, like that's what we're trying to do here at Charlotte. And so we just have a ton of respect for Chrissy Breadbinner and her whole staff. They've been at Wichita State for a while, and she's built that into a championship caliber program. Wichita State came to the Sioux in 2022. I don't know if you guys remember that, but they came to one of our preseason tournaments in 2022. And that was, Christy told me at that time, she's like, we know that y'all are coming into the American, and it was a great tournament. Minnesota was here that year in the same tournament. And she's like, it was a great tournament, but we wanted to come and see, the facility and the school and just get a feel for, everything you guys have got going on here. You guys are going to be coming in the conference, and here we are in 2024, 2 years later. And at the series. And it is a big one. Like I said, it was one that circled and starred really by everybody. I think that we're not going to put too much stock in the preseason 1 and 2 thing. I mean, we've played half a season at this point, and, we've got a lot of really great softball happening right now across the conference in the American, which is great. It's great for the league. It's great for us. But yeah, this one feels like there's going to be a lot of hype behind it. And we would love for you to get out to the Sioux this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be a really great atmosphere, really great matchup, really great softball. We know Wichita State has pretty similar record to us right now, and, pretty similar scheduling philosophy. Christy and I have never talked scheduling, but if you look at their schedule, I mean, they play really good teams, non-conference, and they put themselves in really great position, strength of schedule, RPI, and they win a lot. So just really respect them and really excited for the matchup. They've got multiple kids in their lineup that have hit double-digit home runs at this point, the top of their order. And those hitters are veteran in the league. They're veteran players. So it's going to be a really good matchup. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be when we look back on the 24 season, and how we did in the American. I mean, we think this is going to be a big weekend for both programs.
Yeah, the Americans turned out to be a really good softball conference. I know we were ranked last week. FAU, I thought they got ranked this week, and Wichita State's up there predicted to win the conference. Really good softball being played, and haven't even mentioned North Texas from Conference USA. They, it's really good softball conference, the AAC. I did want to mention I did find the promotions for this weekend at the Sioux listed on the website. Thursday, I have a T-shirt giveaway. Friday, a mini bat giveaway, and Saturday also a T-shirt giveaway with Youth Day post-game autographs. So, and an Easter egg hunt, post-game Easter egg hunt on Saturday. So, just wanted to mention those. They're on the website. So, in case you need another reason to get out to the Sioux, there you go. You got giveaways, you got Easter egg hunts, you got autographs. So, why not make it happen?
Yeah. It's going to be a really great weekend, and the weather looks great Friday and Saturday. I've already been in contact with our game ops staff and Christy at Wichita State because we looked at the weather. The weather here in Charlotte does not look good for Thursday, but Christy and I were going back and forth on email, and we've played 3 conference series, and we both have been doubleheader 2 of those. We were doubleheader at South Florida and this past weekend at ECU. And so we're going to try to avoid a doubleheader as much as we can. But we are working with Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but we'll wait. Wichita State will come in on Wednesday. They'll practice at the facility. They'll be here. So, we'll try to wait as long as possible, let the weather change, as we all know it does most of the time before we make any schedule changes. So hopefully it clears up and we play 3 over 3 days. That would be our wish, but being an outdoor sport, we have 0 control over the weather. We just kind of have to roll with it.
Kevin, you didn't miss a beat, bud. You come right back in with the promotional schedule, and that's
my deal. The promos. I got to get up on the promos.
That's right in your wheelhouse. I did take a look, Coach, to your point. Wichita State's non-conference strength of schedule, 19, and Niner Gals at 4. That's Warren Nolan. I know that varies a little bit from official, but that's what I had handy, so I grabbed it. So your point is made that they're very, very similar type of scheduling philosophies. So should be a good matchup all week long. Wichita State 7-2, Niner Gals are 6-3. So both chasing North Texas and FAU at 8-1 right now. But kind of interesting, Kevin. You're talking about this being a good softball league. It's it's a lot of the newbies, the Conference USA newbies like us that are kind of carrying the flag up top. So it's kind of cool to see.
That's right. Yeah. Conference USA 6, or I think there's more in less in baseball, more in softball.
Yeah. Yeah. But cool deal.
Yeah. And another point to make too, before we move on is, it's Wichita State's RPI today was 34 and ours was 38. So it's also, very close in RPI currently.
Yeah. Good. So this should have a regional feel to it this weekend at the Sioux. So if you can get out there at all, please do. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like to Kevin's point, for no other reason, you can hunt Easter eggs. So that's pretty cool. I like that. All right, Coach. Well, we promised you about a half an hour show today. We gotta get you back. We gotta get you back taking care of that eye.
This one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't forget which one it is. Don't.
Well, they both look maybe like they're dark underneath right now. I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, I've got to keep the ice on it. I can't prolong the bruising.
Yeah.
So what time
do you and the gals hit the road tomorrow?
Well, the game was moved back like we talked about. So we'll probably we normally lift as a team on Tuesdays at noon with Eric McKibben. So we'll stick with that, and then we'll scout here in Charlotte to get a little pregame meal and hit the road around 3:45, 4, and we'll get up to Raleigh about 6. We like to be there about 2 hours before the game starts with bat testing and our hit warm up and everything. So we're going to be rolling by 4, so that way we don't hit any traffic on 85 going up to Raleigh.
Well, it's going to be fun. Can't wait to see you and the gals on ACC Network. And maybe they'll know the difference between you and Cass. I don't know. Maybe not, but we'll have to see. All right, folks, let's wrap this up. We got to get Coach off to get ready for her week, and we're about out of time anyway. So if you're enjoying this on our YouTube channel, consider subscribing and turning on notifications to get notified of new content. If you're checking this out on Spotify, you can subscribe to that as well. You can find Diamond Niner Report all over social media. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Check it out for all kinds of Niner Gals content. So, for Kevin, for producer Brad, for Coach Chastain, this has been Nick. And hey, this weekend, we'll see you at the Sioux.